and the beauty, honestly, of using agencies too is, whether you use mine or someone else, or you go through two or three or four people, you get to learn a lot from every single one. So maybe you work with me and you see how my team communicates.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Growth and Scaling Podcast. Today, I am bringing you one special guest who has an amazing niche. Mina, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Mina Elias. Thank you so much for having me, Todd. I'm very excited to be on the show. I'm the founder of Trivium Group, which is an Amazon advertising agency. So basically what we do is we help brands who are on Amazon scale by driving more traffic profitably and improving conversion rate. We advise them, we help them, any opportunities we find to improve profitability, and basically become a partner in your Amazon side of things and help you grow.
That's awesome. Now, a lot of people are going to be confused at that because people just jump into Amazon and they search Amazon. Tell us about what you do, because I don't think most people know that there's a million brands jumping into Amazon and selling their own goods. How does it work?
Oh, I love it. I love that question. You're right. Maybe I shouldn't assume people know this. So when you go on Amazon,
Right.
and let's say you're trying to buy pre-workout, right? My favorite thing ever is pre-workout. So you go on Amazon, you type in pre-workout, and then you see a list of products right there. Amazon is not selling that.
Right.
Amazon is like Whole
Right.
Foods. Amazon is like a store or a marketplace. And people like me, so I have my own brand. It's called MMA Nutrition. It's an electrolyte powder. But people like me go and list their products on Amazon, and they say, okay, cool, I'm going to sell my product. So whenever someone types in electrolyte powder, for example, my product shows up. And then, my other friend who has a company that sells electrolytes shows up, and so on and so forth. So, pretty much everyone, Amazon doesn't own any brands except very few. They call it Amazon Basics. Now they've started to catch on that people don't like Amazon Basics. So they actually started rebranding, but you can tell that it's Amazon stuff. But basically, 99% of the stuff that's on Amazon is being sold by people like me, third parties. And so, you go in, you list your product on Amazon, and you start selling it. Now, naturally, Amazon is massive, and so it's impossible for anyone to find your product initially. So you're going to need to show up somehow. And the way to show up is through paid ads. So that's kind of where Amazon PPC or Amazon pay-per-click advertising is, where you start bidding to pay money per click to show up for search terms, like for keywords. So, for example, for my product, I'm paying money to show up for the keyword electrolyte powder, electrolyte supplement, and so on. There are some cases where we call it, vendor central or 1P, first party, where Amazon will actually buy product from you. So they'll send you a PO, and you say, okay, here's the 10,000 units that you ordered from me. And then it's actually being sold by Amazon. So that's the only time that it's actually being sold by Amazon, or if it's their brands. But most of the time it's being sold by the person like me, the third party, and being shipped by Amazon. So then we go into what's called FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon. What I do is, I manufacture. I have a contract manufacturer in Monterey Park, California. He makes my product, and then I'm like, okay, ship it out to Amazon. He ships it to a warehouse in Amazon. Amazon gets, let's say, 5,000 units of my product, moves it around the country in all of their fulfillment centers. And now you're in Wisconsin, you buy the product, and they send it out of that Wisconsin or the closest warehouse. So that's fulfilled by Amazon.
And that's how they get the next day.
Exactly.
And that's how they get the next day fulfillment and stuff like that.
Exactly. And then there's obviously fulfilled by merchant, where you're on the Amazon website, someone clicks on you and buys. You don't have that Prime badge because you're a third, you're shipping from your warehouse. And then you get the order, and then you have to pack it in your own box and ship it. Now, definitely not recommended to do that. Everyone loves Prime. Everyone wants that next day or 2 day shipping.
They do.
So there's also some more nuances where pretty much Amazon will not show you that much if you're not
not Prime.
because they know it's going to be a bad customer experience. I wouldn't buy it. Totally. So I'm going to EDC. So I bought a bunch of outfits, and if they arrived in 5 days, I'm like, I'm not buying this. I want it in 1 day or 2 days. So it's like
Seriously,
they know, like they
seriously.
know people don't want to buy stuff that's gonna arrive in 4 days or 5 days.
We've seriously become so spoiled. It's like it's insane. But
It,
this is really cool. That explanation is so much better than I've tried to explain to people because my kids are just like, yeah, whatever, Dad. I'm just gonna get it from Amazon. I'm like, did you know you're actually not getting it from Amazon? And they're like, what? So that was I'm gonna have to save this and replay this over and over again for my kids because I still think they don't quite get it. But for those listening, this is honestly a huge, huge, huge opportunity. It's not something that was huge a couple years ago and now it's totally dead. This is an industry that is growing and growing and growing, and Amazon is an amazing vehicle to provide small business opportunities for people that want to just niche down into a product and like electrolytes and go, right?
yeah, and to like actually double down on that, I started with $500 on a credit card and grew my business to over $1 million a year in revenue. Like I'm a
Wow.
guy literally 9 to 5. As an engineer, I made my own electrolytes. I found a manufacturer, convinced him to make me a run of 100 units at $5 each. Shipped it
Oh
out
my
to
gosh.
Amazon. Started running some ads on my credit card. Sold them. Took that money, bought more inventory, repeated the process 100 times, and like this
Yeah.
is the power of Amazon. Nowhere else can you do this. Like
No.
literally nowhere else
No.
can you do this.
Not to mention, it is so much easier to sell on Amazon because you've got all the payment processing, the merchant processing. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And trust me, having been involved in hundreds of millions of dollars of health supplement sales off of Amazon, that is a huge blessing. Like that is a huge benefit of selling on Amazon. So
Yeah.
don't do
You
the
could,
stupid route that I was involved in. Go smarter.
yeah, you could literally be at home on your computer, like you and your laptop. You can contact the manufacturer, you can have them make the product, you can have them shipped directly
Right.
to Amazon, and then customers buy your product on Amazon. Amazon fulfills it. You don't even need a warehouse, you don't need anything. You literally can do this from the comfort of your home, a laptop. So, I mean,
I
I
love it.
I know people love to like knock on Amazon and Jeff Bezos and like
Right.
sometimes I reach out to people on Instagram and I'm like, hey, we're looking for some people to try out our product. Like we're trying to get some feedback to
Yeah.
see how we can be better than everyone else. And they're like,
Right.
no,
Right.
thank you.
Right.
I don't buy from Scamazon. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is my stuff on their store. And because of them,
Seriously.
I'm able to like live my life. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have a business. I wouldn't be able to live. I mean, I would have just a 9 to 5
No
job.
kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Well, I appreciate the explanation then because honestly, this is so important for people to know how that whole world works because Jeff Bezos is goofy sometimes, but you're not buying from Jeff Bezos. You're buying from people like you and people that you're trying to help. So now over the past few years, how many people have you been able to help build their own Amazon stores and what do you do for them?
Yeah, since I started on Amazon 2018, I built my own brand, grew it. People started coming to me for help. I've consulted, I want to say like maybe 500 brands total. We actively
Wow.
run 140 brands, something like that. We actively do all
Awesome.
the marketing for them. That's yeah, over like 300 million or so in revenue a year. I mean,
Wow.
it's so it used to be a lot easier, and then Amazon started becoming more and more of an opportunity. More and more people
Right.
started coming in. You have big companies like Unilever and Procter and Gamble and companies like that
Yeah.
with massive budgets with very strong teams. So it used to be
Right.
easier to kind of do things on Amazon. It's gotten a lot more sophisticated. So now it's like you kind of need a team. It's almost like Facebook or Google or anything else in the world where it becomes more and
Constantly
more
changing.
sophisticated. Yeah,
Yeah, constantly changing. The algorithm changes and ad spends are going to change all the time. It's crazy, isn't it?
exactly. And so you need kind of like you either need to build your own in-house team, which is totally
Yeah.
doable, right? You just need really good systems,
Right.
processes, sharp people, or you end up hiring an agency. And most brands, like, there's kind of, it's this journey that they go through where they start out, they're scrappy, they try and figure everything out themselves.
Totally.
They maybe bring on a generalist, and who does everything. Then they get to a point where they're like, okay, we're trying to take it to the next level. They hire an agency, because hiring like a full-on team is not cost effective.
Not
Agency
feasible.
grows them, maybe they're doing 10, 15, 20 million a year. Then they're like, okay, we're going to consider bringing this in house, hire like 3 full-time people just to manage like the Amazon side of things. And so that's usually kind of like the path most brands take.
That's actually a really awesome explanation of the growth journey for most people on Amazon. And I think if you're trying to shortcut that, you're going to run into problems probably. And it is hard to kind of bail yourself out sometimes when you've overwhelmed your system with overhead, right? I mean, how do you as an agency partner with these guys ensure that they are going to be profitable? Because I think that's their biggest concern is, oh man, if I use a third-party team, I'm going to have problems. Like I'm not going to make as much profit. How do you help them and kind of ease that pain for them?
I love it. I love that question. So the best thing is I came from their like point of view. I was that person. And so the first thing is, I wanted to build a team for myself that was a comprehensive team. You realize very quickly that generalists don't work. Like they work to a certain degree, but if you don't want to go to a hospital and get brain surgery by a generalist. You want a brain surgeon, and so
by an obstetrician.
Exactly. So I assembled that team, and I'm like, okay, cool. We need someone who's really good at the ad side of things. We need someone who's really good at the brand management side of things. We need an analyst for the data, and so on. Once I assembled that team, I was like, okay, it's obviously not cost effective to have that team full time on one brand up to a certain revenue amount. But if you rented that team out to like 6 brands, it would make sense for them financially. So that was kind of the first thing. Now, brands will come to us and they'll say, okay, we're doing, let's say 60,000, 70, 80,000 a month in revenue. We want to hire you. That will probably run them, in the range of $3,000 a month. And then they're like, $3,000 a month. How fast can we recoup that? And I'm like, the first thing is, if we start running your ads and your account and stuff like that, let's say moderately, you're going to grow 5 to 10% month over month, right? Which is anywhere between 60 to 120% growth a year. Very good, very healthy. But the second cost that most of them are not considering is that $3,000, how many hours of your time are you saving and of your team's time? And if that's saving you, 5 to 10 hours a week, which is let's say, 20 to 40 hours a week between you and your team, and you take that 20 or 40 hours a week and put it into something else, not just say, I'm paying you, so I'm not going to do anything. You're like, I'm paying you, so I'm going to go and put my energy into something else. Usually the combination of both of those should make you a lot more than our retainer. So that's kind of the way that 100%. You should be looking at it.
Running a business, honestly, can leave a lot of founders and operators feeling lonely and isolated. If you have ever felt that way, trust me, I know what it feels like. And there is something you can do about it. You've heard a lot of our guests talk about the fact that being lonely and isolated is one of their biggest challenges in trying to run and scale their business. CaptainsCouncil.com. Go to CaptainsCouncil.com right now and see what we're doing to resolve this problem. We want you to be a strong operator who has solutions and has a way to get around the challenges you're currently facing. What most founders don't understand is that you're not alone. The challenges that you're facing, likely somebody else has already overcome, and they can give you the feedback you need to overcome them. Who better than your peers, other founders, other operators who are joining with you in a small group setting, a global community setting, as well as at our in-person events to guide you through these challenges that you're facing right now. Don't give up, keep on pushing, but do it with some good advice from your peers. Go check it out at CaptainsCouncil.com and let me know what you think about the offering. We can't wait to see you there. 100%. And honestly, for those of you who are listening, whether you're doing Amazon sales or any other type of growth and scaling your business, you've got to consider the practices that he just described, because honestly, this is so cross-transferable into almost any industry. You don't always need to bring in your power team of specialists right as you start to get going. There are agencies with all these players, like he just described, that he has that are in every industry. I mean, you may have a marketing agency that specializes in something completely random. That's exactly what you need, hitting the audience that you exactly want to hit. So don't be afraid to use someone like Mina and growing and scaling your business who is specialized and already engineered a team perfect for your target market.
Yeah, and the beauty, honestly, of using agencies too is, whether you use mine or someone else, or you go through two or three
Right.
or four people, you get to learn a lot from every single one. So maybe you work
You
with
do.
me and you see how my team communicates, and you see the analytics that we look at, and then you're like, okay, I want to try someone else, and you see maybe they use a different tech stack, and you pick something up here, you
Right.
pick something. Everyone's business is very unique to them and needs their
Right.
own things, and it's the same like. I used the partial controller for a while, and then after that, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for something else. Use the different, partial CFO, and then use the different kind of like help
Right.
financially. And so by going to these different people, they all did an amazing job. They all really helped me, but I got a different thing from each one of them, and now I have a
Right.
much better grasp at like what our financials and our dashboards and things like that
Totally.
need to look like, as opposed to if I was just kind of trying to figure out on my own.
This is so valuable. I mean, honestly, it is so valuable to hear you say this because too many people do try to just become the master of everything, and they're like, oh my gosh, I got tax season coming up. I'm gonna go hit YouTube for 2 weeks and figure out everything I need to know about doing my taxes and saving money. When all they needed to do was find the right CFO partner or the right fractional team that can jump in and do it. So what is your pitch to people who think, dude, it's just Amazon? Like, I don't need someone like you. How do you sell them on the fact that they do need you and that you're going to cut their growth curve in half by coming to work with you?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is I asked them, do you really think that with your limited experience, is going to outperform like a full division that has experience, that
Right.
run over $300 million a year in revenue, and has all of these different data points of like, we tested this on this brand and we tried that on that brand, and
Right.
we have economies of scale. And so, I mean, that's the first thing. And the second thing is I just asked them this, like beyond anything else, I asked them this. I said, you as the CEO of your company, is this
Yeah.
the absolute best investment of your time? Are you telling me
Right.
that
Right.
running your Amazon is the best investment of your time? This is the number one thing that's going to grow your business. It can't be, because is it
No.
Amazon, or is it Facebook ads, or is it your Shopify store, or is it trying to expand to
Totally.
retail, or is it your product research and development? What are you going to do?
Totally.
Are you going to have 20 different jobs in your company? So it's like, you just ask them like, your time is an investment. And so where
Yep.
can you invest 1 hour of your time and get the highest return on investment? That's where, I mean, me as the CEO, I can be doing the sales for my team. I can be building the dashboards for my team. I can be setting up like
Right.
the project management system for my team. And I'm like, where do I spend 1 hour of my time and get the highest
Right.
return on investment? Because yeah, sure, I can do everything, but doesn't mean that I should be doing everything.
Dude, I just heard this morning, literally this morning, I was watching an Elon Musk short on YouTube, and he was saying every minute that I spend thinking about Tesla is worth about $1 million every minute.
Wow.
You think, and
Wow.
so that's where you got to put yourself as an operator of a business. You have to think, where's my time most valuable? And I run into this problem all the time because I love to get my hands dirty and all sorts of things. But like my business team, my management team inside my business, they tell me all the time, they're like, Todd, you shouldn't be worrying about how the CRM is going to function. You shouldn't be worrying about how this landing page is going to, respond to these visitors. It's like, you're right. You're right. I shouldn't be worrying about that. But we do. We have a tendency to want to be that hands-on everywhere person. But Mina, tell us, like, you're helping hundreds of businesses do this right now. How do you help guide these leaders in these small businesses to kind of pull themselves back so that they can become a mid-sized company or a large company?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question. Now, I think it all starts with like, what does that person want to see? So what do you want to see so that you can trust that, okay, I don't need to be involved anymore. And I think like the biggest downfall of any agency, and the reason that so many agencies and agencies in general might get a bad rap, is
Right.
because it's communication. And
Right.
that's like what I try and fix. The first thing that I try and fix is I say, hey guys, let me show you what our standard communication is like. You're going to get a daily update.
Right.
You're going to get an update every time an action is taken. You're going to get a plan of
Right.
action every week. You're going to get week on week changes, like updates in your performance. You're going to get a monthly, month over month update in your performance. What else do you want, or what do you want us to remove? And then I get to this point where each like team understands their brands, like how they want to be
Right.
communicated with, so that they can be completely removed from the business. Because I mean, you only want to be involved because of a reason. There is some underlying reason that you want to be involved, right? And
Right.
the
Right.
underlying reason is you don't trust that what's supposed to happen is being done, or you don't
Right.
understand the data or something. So I'm like, okay, cool. If we explain to you everything this way, if we show you everything that way, if we communicate to you, before you even have a
Right.
chance to ask, does that eliminate everything? And usually the answer is yes. I'm like, okay, cool. Now that we have that, this is now going to be the cadence of communication. And so really, the business owner wanting to be involved is usually like a
Right.
lack of trust and communication. So you fix the
Right.
communication, because trust needs to
Right.
be earned. So you fix the communication.
Right.
Once you fix that, and they feel like they're getting everything before, they feel like if any issue ever happens, you're the first one that identifies it, responds to it, builds a plan of action. They're like, okay, cool. Now I'm earning that
Right.
trust, and slowly I don't feel like I need to be part of this. I like,
I
it's like
love it.
if you're doing a house remodeling and you're like, okay, how bad house remodelings go, right? It's like
Right.
always a
Right.
disaster.
Right.
You bring this contractor project manager in, and then you notice over time, before you're awake, he's already texted you the plan. He sends you pictures before you ask him to. He tells you how much things are going to cost before paying for anything. And then you're like,
That
you
doesn't
know what?
happen.
Yeah, it's a dream. It's a dream.
That
Maybe
doesn't
that's my
happen.
next business.
And then you woke up and you discovered that everyone was late and they're 2 weeks 2 weeks before delivery.
Yeah. That's yeah. So I mean, I think that's how it works. I'm a business owner. I like, if I'm
Right.
ever hiring someone, yeah, I want to
Right.
be involved. I want to see
You
everything.
want that.
Yeah, and the second that you like flip the script and you're like, before you even can think of a question, it's already answered. You don't have to go looking
Right.
for information. I, Dude, please keep killing it. You're doing a great job. Like,
That's
I love
that's
this
a
because
great
now my mental load is so much less.
right. I think that that's great advice for any industry out there, even professional services, SaaS companies. Doesn't matter, when you're providing an awesome customer experience for your buyers, it makes them feel more empowered in their business, and especially with a business like what you're doing, in guiding them through this journey on this particular channel of sales. It probably makes them look at all their other distribution channels and say, crap, I need to have these systems that Mina just brought me in these other channels that I'm working in, because I don't know the numbers like I know them in Amazon. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I think that that's a really, really powerful statement for any service provider out there. If you become that best point of contact, that best channel provider for your clients, I promise it's going to turn into not only continued business with them, but potentially they may ask you to jump into different parts of their business that you never thought you'd be in. So I don't
yeah.
know.
We
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've literally gotten that so many times from brands where they're like, dude, like after working with you, like, you know, I can't even work with anyone else. Like, let's say like for Google, Facebook, email,
For
they're
Google,
like,
yeah.
your team communicates so much with us. Their email team maybe updated us twice a week, usually once a week, and we're so late to
Right.
respond to questions. And I'm like,
Right.
I mean, I know, I get it. I'm like you. If someone on
We've
my
all been
team
there.
doesn't respond to me immediately, I'm impatient. I'm like, I
Yeah.
want my answer right now. So it's like, that's I come from that place, and it's always a feedback loop, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's also very big for everyone to understand. Everything should be kind of a feedback loop. A lot of people are like, what should I sell? For example, or how
Totally.
should I do this, or how should I? And it's like, okay, who are you targeting? Just ask them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every week I ask my clients, I'm like, how can I be better? Tell me one thing. That's it. And they're like,
Right.
well,
Right.
honestly, it would be nice to see like your plan. I'm like, okay, cool. Here's the plan. Next week, how can I be better? Oh, well, maybe if you
It's
gave us
awesome.
some ideas here. And it just keeps because
It's
then
awesome.
everything that you want, I'm giving it to you.
Right. So, you know, I hate to wrap this up because this has like been an amazing conversation. So on so many levels, you provided some great feedback for so many different company types out there. But as a founder of a company, you've probably come to know it's kind of a lonely job. What do you do to kind of keep yourself grounded? Are you part of any groups? Is there someone in your circle that you kind of lean on, mentor wise, and how do you find strength in that person? I'd love to hear a shout out on them.
Yeah. So, first shout out. I'm definitely going to shout out the first person that I hired. So, before I want to preface this with something, right? And this is something
Yeah.
crucial. You said you said you try and master everything.
Right.
My biggest issue is traditionally I am very intelligent. So I graduated top. So in high school I did 5 APs. I got 5 5s. I got like 1560 or something on the SATs. I did the SAT 2s. College I was
Nice.
number one in my chemical engineering class, by a lot, like
Awesome.
honors. They gave me like some special award. Masters, I graduated with a 4.0 GPA. So I, I've
That's
had this
awesome.
ability of being able to figure things out as an engineer. Uh, The
Yeah.
problem was that was my biggest downfall, because I got into entrepreneurship and I'm like, you know what? I can figure product development. I can figure building out a
Yeah.
landing page. I can figure Facebook. I can figure Google. I can figure. And then I kept, this thing. And then I would look at someone else who is not a fraction of
Awesome.
intelligence as I am. And, he would be way ahead of me. And I'm like, how was this guy ahead of me? And then I realized is because he already knew that he's not going to figure this out. He just found the best person who's already figured this out
Totally.
and shortcutted that time, like from a month
Totally.
learning to 3 hour consultation call. And I'm like,
I love it.
that's what's been missing in my whole life. And so when I realized this, when I first started my agency, I'm like, I can't be that person. I need to be better. And so I
Right.
reached out to a few friends, and I'm like, I'm looking for someone who can guide me, as an agency
Right.
owner in the operations of the business. And this is my shout out. It's Ray from Right Hook Digital. Right Hook Digital,
Nice.
they're an eight figure marketing agency, Facebook, Google, email, typical stuff. And
Love it.
he came in and literally, we went from for everything, fighting everything, to everything being so smooth. I'm like, hey Ray, I have a problem. This is the problem. He's like, oh, we've been here before. This is what I think it is. This is what you should do. Why
I
don't you
love
try
it.
this? I try it, boom, it's fixed. We move on to the next thing. And
I
sometimes I'm
love
like,
it.
Ray, I feel like my entire business is a problem. Here's all the issues with every single division that I have. And then he's like, okay,
Right.
cool. I listed all of these issues. I then have like this grading criteria. How much do you think this is going to impact revenue? How certain are you? How easy is it? And
Yeah.
then you put a grade, and it multiplies it to like an actual number. And he's like, perfect. We've prioritized how are you going to handle these things. And I'm like, wow. And it's just
Crazy.
like moving. And so because of that, I'm like, imagine how much he's helped my operations. I need this for everything. So we got a
Totally.
sales consultant, we got a finance consultant, we got a marketing
Right.
consultant, and in every part of my business now I have this person who is at
I love
least
it.
3 4 times the size that we are, who's been there, done
Right.
that, seen so much of it. And we
Right.
just hop on a call, we pay for their time, and I'm like, here's my
Yep.
situation, here's all of my issues, please fix them for me. And then they give us
Right.
ideas, we go implement. And I'm not like an overthinker. I mean, you just tell me,
Right.
Mina, I've been there. You have a lot of kids. I don't have any kids. You're gonna be like, Mina, this is how we fixed our son's sleep schedule. I'm like, boom,
Right.
implement it. And like
Right.
that's it. I'm not gonna think. I'm not gonna go to 15 different people and ask them and
So
overthink
smart.
everything. Is just move, because at the end of the day, the second that I take
Yeah.
action, I know the answer. It's either it worked or didn't work. If it didn't work, let's move on to
Right.
the next thing. If it worked, there we go. And it's way faster than thinking about it for 3 months.
Way faster. Way more effective. and you've got advice from people that you can trust because they've led you down a good path before, right? And so this is an amazing lesson for everybody to learn. You cannot grow and scale when your fingers are on everything. You've got to turn to people who are specialists, who know their industry, know the parts and pieces that you need, and then just let them run with it. I love this. I love this interview. Mina, how do people get a hold of you? We're going to put all your contact info in the show notes, but are there special places to go to follow you? You hang out on any social media?
Yeah. Instagram at the Mina Elias, and then LinkedIn, Mina Elias, MINA space ELIAS. If you're a brand and you want to hit us up, go to the website. It's triviumco.com, TRIVIUMCO.com. We offer free audits, so we can take a look into your account. It's 45 minutes of literally free, actionable, tactical steps. We have so many resources. I'm happy to help, right? Whether you're a client or not. Like,
love it.
When I first started Amazon, I reached out to this agency. And they said, listen, you're too small for us, but here's like a bunch of resources. And literally it gave me the most like warm feeling ever of like someone caring. And so I said, I'm gonna, do this. It's Tenuity is the company, the agency that did that. So I said, I'm gonna do this for everyone else. And like when I started this, I'm like, I want to give that feeling to everyone else. So we have so much like, it's stuff that we already made. It doesn't cost me any money to give this information and resources. So it's like, let's help everyone, and if we are a good fit, we'll work together. Yeah.
Abundance mindset people like you are hard to come by. I love that you are one, and I love that you're so giving and sharing. Those listening, you got to be like this, and I promise you much will come in return because of it. So thank you so much for being here with us today. We appreciate all of you listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode. Thanks, Mina.
Thanks for having me, Todd.
Thanks for sticking through this interview. Honestly, I thought it was amazing. I loved the intellect. I loved the way that he approaches business and the way that he describes how we need to lean more on specialists and when we're trying to grow and scale our business. What a great discussion. What a fantastic discussion. If you are in a growth and scaling phase, you have got to be able to reach out to people like Mina and learn that there are people out there that know exactly what to do in the areas you don't know what to do. That doesn't mean you need to jump on YouTube and start learning how to be the best marketer, how to be the best PPC guy. Find someone that is and hire them. Save yourself the money of trying to figure things out on your own and just use a specialist who's proven. Also, be thinking about who you can lean on. Do you have a mentor group? Is there a peer group that you can be a part of? Are there people that you can network with that are going to help you shortcut your time from where you're at now to getting to where you want to be with your business? I hope that this interview helps. Please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you can do to help us grow this channel because we believe in the message. And that is that growing and scaling requires much more than what you can do on your own. It requires good people in your organization, good people around you, and good people who are there to mentor you when you get stuck. So thanks for being part of our community. We look forward to catching you on the next episode of the Growth and Scaling Podcast. We'll catch you on the next episode.